love, and I like it like that. Lately, I've been thinking about girls like you, young blood, fake love, God's plan, yeah. Thank you, next, and I made it obvious, spell it out for you, F-R-A-N-D-S. Thank you, next, I know I go back to the east side, and see you as someone said. Ooh, just for kissing, you look perfect tonight. Does everyone love my eyes? Hey, ooh, just for kissing, one kiss is all it takes. Ain't got no tears left to cry. Lately, I've been thinking, why don't you just meet me in the middle? 'Cause I need ya, and I want ya, and I like it like that. Lately, I've been thinking of girls like you, young blood, fake love, God's plan, You probably think that you are better now, 'cause you're a natural. You can call me that. You only say that 'cause I'm not around. I said no, I said I do it solo. Ooh, just for kissing, you look perfect tonight. So you love my love. Ooh, just for kissing, one kiss is all it takes. Ain't got no tears left to cry. Lately, I've been thinking, why don't you just meet me in the middle? 'Cause I need ya, and I want ya, and I like it like that. Lately, I've been thinking of girls like you, young blood, fake love, God's plan, yeah. Like nicotine, you're all I need. I want you, only God is a woman. Inside of me, you're all I need. And I make no apologies. This was America, and this is me. Yeah. Why don't you just meet me in the middle? 'Cause I need ya, and I want ya, and I like it like that. Lately, I've been thinking of girls like you, young blood, fake love, God's plan, yeah. Lately, I've been thinking about girls like you, young blood.
All right, so yay, we warmed up. Super glad. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that warm up later. But we have across the floor, and I have a lot of different things happening with that. So the first thing we're going to do across the floor is a combination of flap, 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 ball change. So it's 3 flaps, 1 ball change. So it's flap, 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 ball change. Flap, 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 ball change. And it switches feet, so you'll have right, left, right, and then ball change left, and then left, right, left, ball change right. So it's brush step, brush step, brush step, ball change. Brush step, brush step, brush step, ball change. And we're going to take that all the way across the floor. Brush step, brush step, brush step, ball change, brush step, brush step, brush step, ball change. We may have time to do it 3 times, or enough space. I know I only have enough space to do it like 3 times. But any questions about that, go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm going to grab my glasses so that I can read the chat. And let's do the thing. So it'll be nice and slow. Flap, 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 ball change. Ready? 6, 7, 8. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Flap, 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 ball change. All right, left side. Ready? 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, one more time, left side.
Cloud isn't the best place to
put your weight on your FloArts. As you travel forward, if you don't put your weight, when you do the FloArt, you have an extra step of having to then transfer your weight. Again, tap dancers, we're very efficient. I wouldn't call that, it's not lazy to not want to do extra work, it's efficient. So you want to go brush, step, and have all of your weight transferred. So now we're going to do the same exercise we did last time, FloArt, heel, FloArt, heel, FloArt, 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 FloArt. So you have 2 FloArt heels and 4 FloArts. Brush, step, heel, brush, step, heel, brush, step, brush, step, brush, step, brush, step, FloArt, heel, FloArt, heel, FloArt, 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 FloArt. And when you're doing this, don't just do it. Really focus on transferring your weight and making sure you're making a sound with your heel. When you put it down with conviction. So let's do a thing. We did lots of FloArts today. The next one that I want to do is riffs. So we're just going to start by practicing our 5-count riffs across the floor. So showing you from here, remember it's and a 1 and then and 2. When you do dig step, one thing I saw in a lot of videos, don't be timid about that step. Like, you got to put your weight on it. You got to pretend that there is something that you want to crunch. So let your whole weight go down on it so that that crunchy leaf gets real crunched. That was English, I swear. You're going to go dig, step. So from the side, brush, step, heel. Your weight is in your left hip, then you're transferring to your right. Dig, step. A common misconception with tap is that your weight is in your feet. Think about it more like your weight's in your hip. And I know I've said that before, but make sure that you're thinking of it like that. So my weight's in my left hip, and then my weight's going to be in my right hip. It stays in your right hip, and then you switch it to your left hip. So today's for a lot of clarification on steps, so that's good. So you're just going to do 5-count riffs across the floor. And a 1, and 2. All right? So just 5-count riffs as is, and then we'll play with them a little bit. Yeah, that works. So the prep is going to be, you got to hear 5, 6, 7, and a 1. So I'm going to say 7, that's the count before you go. Because it's 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. So you're starting on 8 or 4. Ready? 5, 6, 7, and a 1, and 2. One more time. riffs this time. It's not very difficult. You're literally just going to do 5 count riff, 5 count riff, 5 count riff, ball change. So just 3 of them, and then instead of going into the 4th, you're gonna ball change. And that's a weight shift exercise, because you're gonna wanna keep doing what you're doing and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But instead of keeping your weight here for another riff, you're actually gonna put it in your left foot. 7, 8. So 3 of them and a ball change. So think about where your weight is going, which hip it's going in. So same exact thing, just 3 and a ball change instead of just straight through. I hear a thing. Hold on, I fixed. Okay. Actually, we'll go ahead and choose the same song I just used because that tempo was great. Ready? 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, and a 1, and 2, and a 3, and 4, and a 5, and 6, ball, change, and a 1, and 2. One more time. 5, 6, 7, and a 1. Left side. 5, 6, 7. Ball, change. Alright, one more time on the left. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Cool. Flaps, riffs, yay. All right, we're gonna do Irishes. Nothing special about them first, and then we'll play with them. So just Irishes across the floor. Shuffle, up, step. Shuffle, up, step. All right, I may not hop on my right foot very much, but I'll at least hop on the left foot, just that we have that. Brush, brush, hop, step. One thing at a time. Brush, brush, then hop, then step. Brush, brush, hop, step. Shuffle, hop, step. Okay. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. last time or the time before that, you have 3 of them and then a ball change. So kind of a lot like every other combination we've done today. So I guess that's my theme for the week. So you have shuffle, hop, step, shuffle, hop, step, shuffle, hop, step, ball, change. Now I know that we've done that before, but maybe not everybody was there. So it's 3 Irishes and a ball change. So again, it's just a matter of not going into the 4th one and remembering to keep your weight where it should be. So, double checking chat. Okay, we good. So this tempo is a little bit faster. It'll be 6, 7, 8. So you're going to take it a little bit faster. If you need to go under tempo, go for it. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're getting to that drawback. So one of the things I want you guys to do real quick is you're just going to stand with your right foot on its toe, like on just the toe tap. It's not all the way up on the toe, but like you just stepped back. So just pop that right heel up and put your weight on your right foot. Now all I want you to do is take your left foot, lift just your toe, and spank and then drop your heel. So we're just going to isolate that part of the exercise. So what you're doing from the side, you have this foot popped, and then your other foot, you lift your toe real quick, and then you spank and then drop your heels. One of the things I'm noticing on drawbacks is people go, and you're missing that spank. Right, baby? Yeah, okay, all right. Can I get some cat interference, please? So your foot is back, and then you're just going to spank your opposite foot and then drop the heel. Step. So you have your other foot, put your other foot back, and then spank and then drop your heel. She's just going to chill. All right, this is how it's going to be. Nobody's coming to my rescue, and she's just going to chill. So it's just that spank heel part of it. It should sound like a hit on the floor instead of a... So if you're getting that hit sound, you're doing it right. If you're getting a scrape sound, you're not lifting your toe enough before you go. Right? Mm-hmm. She's like a master tap dancer, so I always have to ask her if I'm teaching this correctly. Am I doing this right? Okay. Good girl. Okay, so across the board, we're just going to be doing drawbacks as slow as they were in the combination last week. Alex, please tell Sean to come rescue me. Okay, so you have step, spank, heel. Step, spank, heel. it's going to go pretty much that slow. Yes, thank you. She walked right up on the floor and was like, pick me up. And I'm like, okay. She does not care if I tap with her in my arm. She gives no cares. Zero. It's great. Well, thank you. So, now that I'm free, I'm just going to go step, spank, heel. Step, spank, heel. And you can see my toe picking up. Step, spank, heel. Step, spank, heel. So you want to have that little toe pickup in order to do that. So if there are any questions about this step, I see something in the chat. Can you repeat the isolation? Yes. So you're stepping back, and then, here, I'll do it from this side. You're stepping back, and then your front foot is going to come up, spank heel. So it's just that spank heel. To get that feeling of spank and then drop your opposite heel. So that's the isolation. But now that we're going to do the drawbacks across the floor, you have the step added to it, but it's just that. You just step back and then do that thing that you just did. Now step back, now spank heel. So we're just going to work on that step, spank, heel. Step, spank, heel. If anyone is like super bored with how slow we're going, totally fine. Go twice as fast. I dare you. But only if you're bored. If you're working on the step, please go at the tempo that we are going.
But I guess I was wrong. You don't have to say what you did. I already know.
So it's going to be step, spank, heel. Step, spank, heel. Step, spank, heel.
Hey girl, is he everything you wanted?
5, 6, 7,
If I told
8.
you you were beautiful, I'd have you in the palm of my hand. So why you love the way?
Alright, let's do that again.
I just can't seem to understand.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Been around, thought it was me until the end. But I guess I was wrong. You don't
Left
have to
side.
say what you did. I
5,
already know.
6,
I fell
7,
from
go.
there's just no chance for you and me. I'll never be. Don't you think it's sad? Goes around, comes all the way
5, 6,
back around.
left foot, lower side.
Comes all the way back around. I know this can't be right.
Okay, so good drawback practice, and I know one of the things I tell people is that if you're struggling with a step, make it a daily practice just to go through it 8 times. Do 8 drawbacks while you're walking from your room to the kitchen, and that'll be your practice for the day. It doesn't have to be okay, I've blocked out an hour, I'm gonna practice tap now. Tap is so casual, you can practice it anywhere. I practiced it underneath my desk at school. My teachers got really mad at me though. Like really, really mad at me. But it's fine. Okay, so now that we've done drawbacks, we will do something with them. So you're gonna do the same thing that we've been doing, which is 3 and a ball change, but this time instead of a ball change, I'm gonna just ask you to do stamp, stamp. So you're gonna go 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, stamp, stamp. And then your left foot would be free. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, stamp, stamp. So it's 3 and then a thing. And you're doing 2 stamps because it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. You have 2 counts left, 7 and 8. So it's got to be 7, 8. Cool? Cool. So I'm going to try to find a slightly slower than what we just did tempo, but let's see. That is actually faster. It's okay, I'll just use the same one. It's good.
But I guess I was wrong. You don't have to say what you did.
Okay, ready?
Beautiful. I have you in the palm of my
5,
hand.
6, 7, 8, 7, spank, heel.
I just can't seem to
7,
understand.
spank, heel, stamp,
Well, baby, been around, thought it was me until the end. But I guess I was wrong. You don't have to say
So hopefully you guys feel a little bit better about drawbacks with that exercise. Isolating the part that's going wrong is the best way to handle any step in any class that, that is not working. Like when I want to practice my pirouettes, I try to isolate the part that sucks. Like obviously my prep is fine. And then, I mean, okay, I'm not very turned out, but maybe I was doing a jazz pirouette, okay? So my prep is fine. Using the foot that it can actually go into passe. My passe is fine. Where's the problem? The problem is that I fall forward out of my turn. So I isolate what happens after the balance and I come down, and then I realize that my left shoulder or my right shoulder is too far down. So take any step that you're learning in any class. If there's something going wrong with it, isolate the part that's going wrong. Fix it, tweak it, make it better, and then try the whole thing again. So. Things and stuff and things. Maxi forwards, that was the other step that I wanted to go over today. So a maxi forward, one of the things you gotta worry about is what direction your shuffle is going, because the shuffle always comes from up here and then goes down up. It always has to go down up. No matter what direction you're doing it in, it goes down up. A couple times in the confusion of it being a piece of choreography, sometimes the shuffles on the videos went. Now that is a very difficult thing to do, the backward shuffle. There's a whole exercise that I did, like, it's a really, really advanced exercise, but doing it by accident, we need to make sure that you get your shuffles going in the correct direction. And again, in the middle of a piece of choreography, panic sets in, and that's what causes it to do that. So when you go for the maxi forward and you step out, you need to make sure that you bring this foot up so that it is ready to shuffle. Then you shuffle, then you jump on it. So the part that will make sure that you do the shuffle correctly is by bringing up your foot to be ready to shuffle. Every step in tap dance is a preparation for the next step. So you can't just step. You didn't prepare for the next one. You step and you're very prepared for the next one. My teacher taught me that every step in tap dance is a preparation for the next step. So I will teach you exactly that. And I'm sure somebody taught him, who taught him, who taught him. So step, be ready to shuffle, then jump on it. 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4. Even like in fast motion, the minute I step, my foot comes up so I can shuffle. If you step and your foot's still out here, you can't shuffle from there. There's no way. Try it on the left foot. So we have step, shuffle, jump. Step, shuffle, jump. While you guys try it on the left, I'm going to keep doing it the other way, but I'll face you just so I don't keep landing on my bad leg. So you have step, shuffle, jump. Step, shuffle, jump. And also relax your shuffles. I think that was the other comment I made on a lot of people's feedback was, relax, please, please, please relax, because if you try to shuffle with a stiff foot, it's going to end up being really awkward and harder than it needs to be. So the shuffle comes from up here, and you really got to relax that ankle and not fall over, but just relax the ankle. It's all from up here. So let's do buffalo step, buffalo step, buffalo step, stamp. Just 3. 3 and a stamp. Fun fact, I'm actually allergic to the shampoo that Alex uses, and every time he takes a shower, I sneeze like crazy. So yeah, so step, shuffle, cross, step, shuffle, cross, step, shuffle, cross, step. That's it. 3 and a stamp. 5, 6, wait. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, shuffle, cross. Step, shuffle, cross. Step, shuffle, cross. Let's do that one more time. So your heels shouldn't be down in a buffalo at all until the stamp. Your heels should be up the whole time. The first one I did, my heel was down, and I was like, oh wait, that's not right. It should feel wrong to have your heel down. So let's do it one more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, shuffle, jump. Step, shuffle, jump. Step, shuffle, jump. Left side. I'm gonna do it facing you so that it shows the left side, but I'm not going to be landing on my bad leg. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, shuffle, jump. Step, shuffle, jump. Step, shuffle, jump. Skip. One more time. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, shuffle, jump. Step, shuffle, jump. Step, shuffle, jump. Step. Okay. So, do we have any questions about the buffalo? I know in context for the piece, it was just really, really, really fast. So I just want to make sure that there's no questions. Okay, yeah, so reading the chat, that was a buffalo step. It is very similar to a maxi forward, and since that was brought up, we can actually segue into a maxi forward just to make sure that we have that. There are 2 major differences between a buffalo and a maxi forward, aside from the fact that they are not at all the same step. And I try to be clear when I say that, and people are like, what do you mean? They're like basically the same step, you just add a toe to the other one. But if you look at them musically, they are not the same step, even a little bit. So a buffalo goes 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4. And it's, if you looked at the notes, it would be quarter note, 8th, 8th, quarter. Quarter, 8th, 8th, quarter. Da, 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 da. If you look at a maxi forward, it'd be step, shuffle, jump, toe. Step, shuffle, jump, toe. And that's actually in 3. Step, quarter, 8th, 8th, quarter, quarter. So it's actually in 3/4. Sorry for my non-music people, but it's actually in 3/4. The buffalo is 2 counts, the maxi forward is 3. And that changes the game. You've got one that's an 8 note, there's an 8 count, and then there's one that's a waltz. You got 4/4 and a waltz. Very, very different steps. You gotta treat them differently, even though yes, when you actually look at it, the 2 major differences is that instead of going step, shuffle, jump across in front, you go step, shuffle, jump across and back, toe. Those are the 2 differences, cross and back, and then you add the toe. And that's standard. There are variations where you might do the toe in front or out to the side or not cross the buffalo in front. Variations forever. So let's do a couple maxi forwards. Step, shuffle, jump toe. Step, shuffle, jump toe. Just 2 of them. Remember to bring in that shuffle before you actually do the shuffle. Bring in the leg. 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, shuffle, jump toe. Step, shuffle, jump toe. Also, don't get in the habit of leaving your toe on the floor. That's something that I notice in my classes that I teach in person right now, is that with the beginners, it's a lot of tendency to like put almost your weight on that toe. It shouldn't. It comes up, and that goes back to the fundamentals video that we had. But let's try it on the left. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Step, shuffle, jump toe. Step, shuffle, jump toe. So basically the same as a buffalo. Basically the same, but as a musician, to me, they're fundamentally different. So, any other questions? Are there any other steps that I can go over today, like in depth? Because I'd be very, very happy to. I was just going with what I noticed, but I'd be happy to go over a step or 2 in the little bit that we have left. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that there isn't one. On that note, I wanted to do one more thing kind of across the floor. I wanted to do a turn because we had been starting to work on that. So I just want to do flap heel turns. So your feet are doing flap heel, flap heel. Nothing really changes about that. It's just flap heels. We did those in the beginning of this class. It's just flap, heel. Now I did 4 flap heels, so I would have done 2 turns if I was turning it. Remember that the feet do not change just because you're rotating. So to do a flap heel turn, we've talked about this, it's flap heel, So I think we've done step heel turns more than flap heel turns, but since we have flap heels, it's brush, step, heel. Now I'm spotting to the side, but my body's already facing the back. And then on the second one, I only have to make a half rotation. You lose it when you go and you're still facing front, because now you have to like do the entire rotation on your second foot. And that's not fair to you, to yourself. So if we're talking about arms and jazz and ballet and stuff, you add this flap, heel. So it comes out, you'll come out with it, and then you'll come to first. So it's second, first, second, first. And it's like a jazz second where my palms are down. I call it slice and then round. Slice, round. So if you're looking for arms on that. And arms are most important for tap dancers when you consider musical theater. That's where I think arms are the most important for tap dancers. Noise Complaint doesn't have arms in our choreography. But, in musical theater you'll need it. But for right now, if you just want to focus on the feet, that's fine. Brush, step, heel, brush, step, heel. So let's try one more on the right, and then we'll do it on the left. 5, 6, 7, 8. Brush, step, heel, brush, step, heel. Try left. So you're rotating with your right arm going toward the front of your room first. That's the rotation. So you're stepping left, and then your right arm is going to come across the front. That's another thing that's really difficult to teach on camera, is that you don't know which way I'm rotating. So my left foot goes out, my right arm comes across. So let's do that one more time. Left foot. 5, 6, 7, 8. Brush step, heel, brush step. Okay, so we did lots of steps today. Today was like a lot of review day and vocabulary day, which I'll talk about in a minute. But we did flaps, we did flap ball change, we did flap heels, we did riffs, we did Irishes, we did maxi forwards, buffaloes, drawbacks, lots of ball changes, and a flap heel turn. So we covered 10 fundamental steps today in class, which I think is really important. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off the dance floor and come up there so that we can talk about things and stuff and things.